So today the topic which Sankalp had requested was conjunction, right? Okay. So basically conjunction in this thing is called as Sanskrit is called as yuti, yuti. Yuti means basically when two or more planets are seated together, it is their yuti or their conjunction. So what are the repercussions which happen because of that? Okay. So basically. Uh, When two planets connect, there are a couple of ways in which they can connect it. First one is when they are seated together. Okay. Second is when they are aspecting. And third is when they are in trine. Broadly, these are the three things which are there. Now, when we talk of all these three things, there is a slight difference if you understand. Now, let's talk in very simple words. If two planets are seated together in a Rashi, it is like saying that they are seated in the same house. If they are seated in the same nakshatra, it is like they are seated in the same. Manasi, if they are seated in the same nakshatra, it is as if they are in the same room. If they are in the same pada, it is like they are sitting on the same seat. एक दूसरे के गोदी में बैठे, something like that. Okay, that is one point to understand. Now, what is the difference? This is my observation. Okay, what is the difference between two planets seated together and one planet aspecting another one and another planet in trine with this? The difference is only the progression. In the sense, if two planets are seated together in the same Rashi and one is at 10 degrees and one is at 20 degrees and they are not Vakri and they are not Rahu Ketu, then they are all going in the clockwise direction. So the 10-degree fellow is moving towards the 20-degree fellow and not the other way around. Are you understanding? So even though they are in the same room, this fellow will influence this mode. It's a Bhrigunadi Nadi principle. Same way, if this fellow is aspecting this one, he is getting the influence of him on this fellow. And third thing is when they are in trine, again in the trine basically they are in the same what you call element, tattva. But in progression the fellow in the first Rashi will be following the fellow in the fifth Rashi. So if you actually want to know conjunction at a more deeper level and sort of dissect it to a different level, then you have to see firstly whether they are connected to each other either in yuti or in trine or in aspect by aspect, and then see who is influencing whom. Now the thing is, it is like saying let us say Mars is aspecting moon. Okay, so Mars can be in first Rashi and moon can be in fourth Rashi. So moon's fourth aspect hits it. Now Mars is what? Fire, and moon is what? Water. So now basically when both meet, both are going to influence each other, right? If you keep a pot of water on a gas, the gas is going to burn and heat up the water. But ulta kiya, if there's a flame going and you put water on it, the flame is going to douse. So basically, when we talk of two things, it is like a merger. Two elements are merging, right? So if Mars is aspecting water, the water is going to boil and evaporate. If there's a fire going Mars and water is put on it, this fellow can extinguish. So there is a difference over there. When we talk about Yuti, we say Mars, Moon, or anything you take. Let's say Mars and Saturn. Like Mars and Saturn is the only one which can actually hit each other, because if Mars is in the first house and Saturn is in the fourth house, Mars by the fourth aspect will hit Saturn and Saturn by the 10th aspect will hit Mars. Correct? So that is a different kind of a combination. where they are hitting each other. It is like they are hitting each other on the head like that. But the thing is, other than that, you have to consider the progression. This is point one. There are only 2 points as per my understanding. One is who is hitting whom, and obviously both of them going to create whatever effect is going to come, good or bad. Second thing that has to be considered is when two planets are connecting, firstly you have to understand their basic karakatva. Like Mars will be fire, your this thing, Moon will be water, Saturn will be cold. You understand that? Those basic elements will not change. So when two planets are connecting together either by yuti or trine or aspect, their basic character has to be understood. And secondly, you have to consider whether they are the 6, 8, 12 lords. Okay. And thirdly, which house ka lord they are. So they may not, so it may be that the third lord, okay, is in conjunction with, let us say, 10th lord. So third lord is of effort, 10th lord is of क्या बोलते हैं, career. So if, let us say, career has got fire and effort has got water, and water is aspecting this in some way, so क्या हो रहा है कि this is getting extinguished. उल्टा क्या, if 10th is water and 4th is fire, or third is fire, then it is making this boil and come up. So whether that is good or bad is another debatable thing, but that way. This is how you have to understand. So firstly, understand how they are getting connected and the progression, who's coming and hitting whom. And the second thing is whether they are in any way the 6th, 8th lords, or which house they are representing, and their basic character. But if you understand this, that is all that can, then only you have to work on more cases and get some details out of it. This is the basics of yuti or conjunction as per my understanding. If you all have any doubts, ask. I thought today I've got a lot of work pending for tomorrow, so thoda sa kaam hai. Shankar.
I was asking whether how we can see that in Astrovastu, like two of the planets together.
Okay, so
Like,
I'll talk about Astrovastu and I'll also talk about how to use it in remedy also. So Astrovastu, in the sense, I told you that basic what we do, that east, south,
hmm,
west and north, it goes in that sense.
correct.
So basically, if let us say somebody is unwell, okay, so then maybe in his 6th house or 8th house there might be a fire element which is getting doused by a water element. So it is like saying you are eating spicy food and then you are continuously drinking water, and then that is affecting the digestion process, and पेट में rather than it getting digested, it is making it into some sort of a toxin. वो ऐसा बोलते हैं ना, while eating if you keep drinking water then it leads to indigestion and all the other issues. बरोबर. So basically in Astrovastu, if let us say in that house you see a water element, let us say in the east there is some water element which is hitting on a planet which is fiery, which may be Mars. So that can lead to a conclusion कि तुम्हारे घर में ये जगह पे ये कुछ है क्या करके. Are you understanding? That is how you use it for Astrovastu. How you use it for a remedy is basically, just the other day I was looking at one case where in the 5th house, Mercury, Saturn and Moon, and which happened to be that person's 4th house. If I remember it correctly, it was the 4th house, 5th Rashi, sorry, 6th Rashi. No, 5th Rashi, 4th house, 5th Rashi. I'm getting confused with thoda sa, but basically the thing is, let us say, just take a discussion, you have got 5, okay, you have got Rahu was there. Let's take Rahu. Yeah, Rahu was there. Rahu was there. Moon was there. Let's take these three only first. Then we can add on more planets. So basically, it was the fifth house, sixth Rashi. Fifth house, sixth Rashi. Last time का case, I have put it up on that thing. Fifth house, sixth Rashi. Rahu was there, and Moon. Moon के नक्षत्र में था. So basically, what do we have? We have got five. We have got Rahu. We have got Moon, and we have got a sixth house, which is 6. So let's say 5, 6, Rahu, Moon. Now you look at the negative side. 5 can be Soch, Moon can be emotion, Moon is also milk as per Lal Kitab, Rahu is acid as per Lal Kitab, Rahu is Pradushit air also as per Lal Kitab, polluted air, and 6th is dispute, and Moon is also mother. So what was it leading to? Her Soch 5 was leading to a dispute 6 because of Rahu disruption in Moon, her emotional content with 4 mother with Moon mother. So because she was rubbing the ball from the left side, it was giving these 4 things. Now same thing, you turn it around. Let us say you talk of 5 as further studies. 5 is further studies. No, 4 is primary studies. So further studies. 5 is also hobby, something very close to your heart. 6 is competitive exams. Okay. 6th is also 10th. 6th is basically that. Then what was
So
it?
job, 6th is job.
No, not job. 6th is basically it is third from third. One effort I was looking at like that. It's not third from third, it's fourth from third. But 1 minute. 6th is basically competitive exams. Okay. Rahu is modern technology. Okay. And Moon is basically the emotional content, if you want to say. So if she takes up, and Moon is also education as per Lal Kitab. Okay. So if this person takes up education, further education 5, related to that person's hobby, which is 5, related to modern technology, which is Rahu, again Moon, which is education, and 6th is do it in a way like it was a competitive exam for, basically if that occupation is your survival technique, you will do everything to be competitive in that. So if that is done, then the Karak Tattva turns around like this. This is not a branded remedy, but this is some thought which I work on. Okay, so coming back to Sankalp, your question is basically first understand the Yuti by these 2 methods which I just said. Okay, one is how they are getting connected, and second the Tattva and all those things. In the video you will get that. And then if you want to see from the Astro Vastu point of view, see whether a water element is expecting a fire element, or a fire element is expecting a water element, or a earth element is expecting a fire element, or a fire is, see, fire expecting earth mein earth garam ho jayega. Earth expecting fire mein it will douse the fire, bujha dega. So like that you can see fire, water and fire. If you do water on earth, will create a chikhal over there, kichad. Earth on water, it is that that stork and the crow wala thing. That thing will go up and the water will come up. So like that, thoda sa philosophy part or logic part pakad ke, that you do, and then you connect it with Astro Vastu ka directions to see that, and as a parallel remedy, iska Karak Tattva 1, 2, 3, 4 ka Karak Tattva change karke karo. When there are multiple planets, you connect them. So suppose Rahu was there with Mercury, then Rahu is modern technology, Mercury is education. If it was on the left side of the season ball, it would have been Rahu would have been a disruptor and Mercury would have been intellect. So intellect ko wo ye kar raha hai, problem create kar raha hai. So you change it to this. So this is how, that is the principle I follow for rectification. ठीक है? We'll keep a class little short. I've got some college work to do for tomorrow, so thoda sa zara time is short. You all have any doubts over here? You ask, or any other topic you have a doubt or difficulty you ask, then I'll solve. Otherwise, we can wrap up today.
Sir, like if there is a conjunction between Saturn and Ketu, like how we'll see that?
Saturn.
Saturn and Ketu.
So, but now I told you, no, just saying Saturn and Ketu doesn't make sense. Saturn
Okay,
कहाँ
so where?
कहाँ
Okay,
बैठा है? Saturn का basic
correct,
कारक ठंडा and slow and स्थगित. Ketu is
correct.
spirituality and cut. So where they are seated, who is aspecting whom, or how are they connected, in which
their
tattva they are sitting?
their lordship.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because Saturn might be going Margi or it might be going Vakri. Ketu will
Hmm.
always go Vakri. So if Saturn is going Margi and Ketu is going Vakri, they are actually going away from each other.
Okay.
This is the Bhrigunandi Nadi principle, no? Progression. So if they are coming towards each other, like Saturn is going like this and Ketu is coming like this, then we will say they will connect at some point. But if they are going away from each other, unless they are in trine, they will not be connecting that way also. And even if they are in trine, then you have to see in which pada they are and whether this fellow has gone ahead of this. So thoda sa micro. That's why I had given you that chart. Honestly, you got
Hmm.
that chart, Dandivar Patola. That so from that you will be able to point out exactly whether they have crossed each other or they are at that point only. So just saying, like people say ये और ये, हाँ ये और ये होगा तो ये होगा. I don't accept that. That can be one of the options, but there will be so many permutation combination options.
Hmm.
Let us say, suppose, just for discussion sake, Saturn of yours is seated in, let us say, ये अपना, what is it called, first Rashi. So cold planet seated in a fiery Rashi will what? It's like saying putting ice cube in a oven.
Hmm.
So that is there. And let us say it is aspecting Ketu, seventh aspect, say, yeah, fourth or tenth, whatever it is. So let us say if it is seventh, Ketu is basically what? Adhyatma, spirituality, renunciation from all materialistic things. And he is seated in what? Kalpurush Kundi, seventh, which is called Venus. Venus is glamour. So it is like saying that you are putting, let's say, Bhagavad Gita ka copy in some ramp walk or something like that. So just saying Saturn and Ketu will give this result is not acceptable. It can give you 20% of the answer correct, but Baki ka it will not be. Ah, Chitra.
Sir. Sir, I had read about it that if let's say
Really, your voice is cracking.
Venus
सुनाई
is
नहीं
at
दे
5
रहा.
degrees and Mars is at 10 degrees.
नहीं
Okay.
नहीं, say it
So
again.
basically, in this, if no one is retrograde, then
Can't hear you. Say it
is,
again.
is this better, sir?
हाँ, now
अभी सुनाई दे रहा है?
कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा.
आपकी आवाज पूरी कट गई थी आपने जो भी बोला.
अभी अभी सुनाई दे रहा है?
हाँ,
Am I
now.
audible now? I'll just disconnect and join. अभी सुनाई दे रहा है?
हाँ, better, हाँ. You switch off your camera, I think, because there's a lag over there. सोडूनच गेला. भवानी कुठे गेला?
I'll ask him to join in.
Please ask him, huh?
सर ये जो चार्ट आप बोल रहे थे कि दिया था वो स्टार्टिंग की क्लासेस में दिया था क्या?
नहीं नहीं, थोड़े थोड़े लोगों को दिया था, तुमको नहीं दिया था. ऐसे थोड़ी
अच्छा.
होगा. You are also great. सबको दिया था मैंने. मैं थोड़े एक को दूंगा, दूसरे को नहीं दूंगा. It is there in the class. If you don't have it, tell me. I'll give it to you again.
नहीं मैंने स्टार्ट एक्चुअली ज्वाइन लेट किया था ना.
सबको दिया, मुझे नहीं दिया, ऐसा ही don't करो.
नहीं नहीं मैंने लेट ज्वाइन किया था ना ग्रुप, इसलिए मैंने पूछा आपको.
मैंने सबको दिया, सिर्फ भवानी को नहीं दिया था, बाकी सबको दिया. हाँ, चित्रा, what happened?
अभी सुनाई दे रहा है, सर? Am I better? Sir, so मैंने ये पढ़ा था कि if one planet is at 5 degrees, let's say Venus, and Mars is at 10 degrees, so basically Venus will have a larger effect on Mars than Mars will have on Venus. will have on Venus, right?
एक सेकंड
सैटर्न पे बैठ के बातें कर रहे
हाँ
हैं.
सर
Am I on this, sir?
हाँ, this is better. हाँ.
एक सेकंड.
Finally, भावा ने बोली
हाँ.
कुछ उसकी भी. बोलो.
हाँ sir. Sir, so if one planet,
नहीं किया ना.
sorry,
भवानी को खिड़की से बाहर नहीं फेंक दिया ना उसका माइंड. हाँ, का भरोसा नहीं. हाँ. Then what happened? हाँ.
okay. Sir, so if one planet is at 5 degrees and the other planet is at 10 degrees, let's assume that Venus is at 5 degrees and Mars is at 10 degrees, okay, and both are straight, they are no retrograde or nothing. Then Mars, what I read was that Venus will have a larger effect on Mars than Mars will have on Venus. So in the dasha of Venus, you Venus will affect Mars also in that way, but it will be more of a Venus effect. But in the dasha of Mars, there will be Mars effect and Venus effect. वैसा होता है दशांतर दशा.
Similar point only I said sometime back, no, कि मैं progression में कौन आ रहा है. But the
Okay.
thing is, see, finally you have to understand one thing. Like when, let us say, even if this fellow is hitting this one, ये ऐसा नहीं, it is not like वो billiards के जैसे कि इसको ठक मारा तो ये निकल के गया. It is more like two elements merging, ना.
Exactly.
हाँ, so if water is affecting fire, fire may be getting doused, but water is also getting heated, no. So it is a two-way reaction. Now the thing is, because water is hitting on, so let us say Venus बोल रहे हो और Mars बोल रहे हो, okay? So let us say Venus is cloth. Venus is also stitched cloth, बराबर ना? And Mars is fire. So if we say stitched cloth or cloth is coming onto this fellow, क्या Mars?
Fire. हाँ.
हाँ, तो क्या वो Mars might extinguish because oxygen निकल जाएगा, but ये भी
Right.
जल जाएगा ना, बराबर? Now the thing is, if Venus को Mars लगा रहे, so Venus is cloth and this thing is fire, तो ये उसको ये लगा जाएगा तो ये जल जाएगा, इसको शायद कुछ नहीं होगा.
Right.
Now in both these things we have to understand one thing, that Jupiter is also involved because Jupiter is oxygen. So when fire, so that is one element which if fire element is getting hit by a cloth element, both are going to get damaged, but in between that oxygen is also going to get damaged, no, because oxygen nahi is like that fire has got doused. So this is something which has not been considered. While I was talking sometime back, it came to my mind is that when we talk of two planets, there may be a third planet also which might be getting affected.
Which is aspect रहेगा या कुछ तो रहेगा उसका ट्राइन पे रहेगा.
It will not have an aspect. It will get connected. Like if
अच्छा.
अगर fire है और पानी डालो या कापड़ डालो उसके ऊपर,
हाँ.
the fellow getting extinguished because it is not getting oxygen.
हाँ.
So let us say, just now what I was saying, कि let us say there is fire is in the 10th house of career and water is coming from the fourth, म्हणजे उसका fourth house,
Seventh aspect.
seventh aspect. So that is the thing. उधर से अगर पानी आ रहा है, seventh aspect. So what is happening is, okay, let's take a Kal Purush only. 10th house, नहीं, but 10th house में fire कैसा आएगा? Let us say
Libra ascendant.
let's do one very simple thing. 10th house is first Rashi.
10th house first राशि. Okay.
Okay. तो first राशि में ये क्या हो गया? Fire हो गया.
Cancer ascendant. हाँ.
7th house becomes what? Venus. बराबर. So वहां से suppose cloth आ रहा है. Venus is cloth, ना, stitched cloth. So वो आ रहा है. So what is happening is the career is getting burnt out because 7th house of, let us say, spouse. Spouse का नौटंकी, because Venus is all glamour. So glamour of the what is it called, spouse. Like some people, wives are there who want to be very this thing. So वो that is coming and hitting the career. And end way it is hitting finally what it is hitting Jupiter, which happens to be the 12th and the 9th lord, no? If we say 10th, so 12th and the 9th lord, barabar, no? Am I doing it correct?
No. It will be 6th and
12th and 9th.
Cancer ascendant बोला ना sir?
नहीं, Cancer ascendant नहीं.
अच्छा.
First Rashi.
First, my 10th house is in the first Rashi.
Mercury will be
Then it becomes Cancer ascendant, no, sir? 10,000 first Rashi then.
हाँ, Cancer ascendant. वो
हाँ,
छोड़ो.
कैंसर असेंडेंट तो फिर जुपिटर का लॉर्डशिप 6,000 9,000 हो गया.
नहीं, from the 10th house here. From the 10th house, Jupiter
अच्छा,
becomes the 12th and the 9th, na?
बराबर, ओके, वैसा, राइट,
That is Bhagya and that is loss. That Bhagya
बराबर,
is also getting activated.
बराबर,
And from here, if you see, it will become the 6th and the 9th house.
बराबर.
So 6th and both you see, 6th बोला तो recovery of money from clients. 9th बोला तो भाग्य.
हम्म,
इधर से अगर देखो तो 9th बोला तो भाग्य, 12th बोला तो loss. And Jupiter
ओके,
is big money. So because of this very affluent this thing character of that wife,
हम्म,
इसके work is getting damaged and पैसा निकल के जा रहा है.
हम्म, हम्म, हम्म.
Later on, hear this video and then draw it out, you'll understand.
हाँ, समझ गया, समझ गया.
So it is like that. So basically क्या हो रहा है कि यहाँ से वो कापड़ आके इधर आ रहा है.
बराबर है,
अगर 7th house से कापड़ इधर आ रहा है, तो it is dousing the fire which is that fellow's career.
राइट.
But 7th house इधर से आ रहा है, it is spoiling the marriage also because इसका अगर पैसा ये उड़ा रही है तो वो बम मारेगा, शादी में झगड़ा हो जाएगा. Like that, you know.
it's like
और फिर पद
collateral
और
damage.
राशि और वो सब भी काउंट हो जाता है, तो वो भी प्लैनेट का इन्फ्लुएंस तो आने ही वाला है. तो ऑक्सीजन की तरह काम कर लेगा या नक्षत्र वैसे काम कर लेगा.
And that 7th from the 10th is the 4th from the ascendant, no, that is home atmosphere also, no, वो भी जल रहा है.
राइट, राइट.
So this is this concept just came to me when we were talking. It was not there in my mind. We should start using this. कि ये जो दो युति में तीसरा भी मारा जाता है. जैसे इनफैक्ट लाल किताब का थियरम है, शनि सूर्य शनि के टक्कर में शुक्र मारा जाएगा करके. Whenever Saturn and Sun hit, Shukra gets damaged. Venus gets damaged. मानसी तू काय म्हणत होती?
No, about the Jupiter oxygen, I was saying it's like lateral collateral damage, matla circle, when between the two planets, that's also getting caught.
Yeah. Anyway, so any more questions or we'll wrap up here. Next Saturday, next Sunday we'll take up some more detailed cases. Huh? ये जो this thought which I've told you, just think over it and see what comes out. Chalo. Okay. Bye.